You killed 2 people tonight. I don't think you understand that.
Entonces lo espero en octubre con ellos.
I first heard about this topic on the subreddit Internet Mysteries. There's a strange account on Instagram that posts videos with what appears to be mannequins. From his account, it appears as if he lives with these mannequins, believing they are real human beings.
Entonces lo espero en octubre con ellos. Síganos en estas redes, en esta página mía, para más opciones.
In the caption of one of his pictures, Chris writes, "Back with my family." In the post, we can see 2 different mannequins, one which resembles a woman and another resembling a child. In a different video, we see even more female mannequins lying down as he films them. It appears this man genuinely believes that these mannequins are alive and part of his family. Other posts show him taking the female mannequin out in public, behaving as if they are a couple. He posted another picture in April of this year, showing multiple people standing together, posing for the camera with the female mannequin being with them. These people could be Chris's friends, but they might also be random strangers he convinced to take a photo with. The man also dresses the mannequins daily, feeds them, and takes them shopping and for walks outside. We can also see other mannequins of children, frequently being featured in his posts, with Chris even talking to them. It makes the impression that he believes that the mannequins are his children, and he even celebrates their birthdays. The man's full name is Christian Montenegro. He lives in Colombia and is essentially married to one of the mannequins. He treats the mannequin as his actual wife, creating a family with 3 children. 6-year-old Daniel, 4-year-old Lady, and Sammy, who is just 1 year old. According to Christian, he suffered severe bullying during his childhood at school, which led him to having difficulties in socializing. He met a woman named Karen in adulthood, who taught him to pray, go to church, and be a better human being. They both fell in love, but everything began to fall apart when, on one occasion, after they had intercourse, he decided to surprise her by telling her that they already had a baby. He then introduced her to a plastic baby, claiming it to be his son, whom he named Daniel. Karen didn't take that well because, although they had previously played mom and dad, she always believed that it was just a joke. She didn't understand the extent of Christian's desire to have a mannequin family. Initially, she ignored this. However, as time went on, Christian created horrifying scenes in her house, forcing her to take a cesarean section at the birth of the supposed baby, even urging her to have a baby shower. The relationship ended abruptly, though after 5 years, Karen decided to give Christian another chance, hoping that he might have grown out of his obsession with mannequins. Christian, on the other hand, had other plans. He told her that Daniel had already grown up and that he was 5 years old, showing her a larger doll. The other surprise Karen received was that Christian had also created Lady, another rag doll, of whom he had photos documenting her life growth and school stages. Christian was abandoned again by Karen. He then tried another relationship with a woman named Nancy, to whom he never mentioned his rag children, but the relationship also eventually ended. After that, he decided it was time to give his children a mother and created Natalia, his rag wife. She is the same mannequin that he often features in his videos. He claims he is quite happy with his family and believes he has found the true love of his life. His family also seems to have accepted his love for the mannequins, as he frequently brings Natalia to family gatherings and outings. He explained that, although Natalia is made of rags, he found in her what a woman of flesh and blood never gave him, such as trust and unconditional love. This topic is really disturbing. On 3rd of August this year, a channel that goes by the name Mey Mey uploaded a video titled "Funny Dinosaur Play with Dog Mom." The title seems harmless. The thumbnail of the video was really strange. I obviously cannot show it here, but in the thumbnail, it looks like a man pretending to do it to a dog. The video follows the man and the dog in the jungle, with the man dressed in a dinosaur costume. At one point, he takes the dog behind a bush and pretends to do things with it. As of now, the video has 2.1 million views, and it hasn't been taken down yet. The comments under the video are also interesting. While some of the people pointed out how disturbing the video is, others seem to enjoy it, even asking for more similar content. The channel has many more videos, where he touches and takes close-up shots of their private parts. I cannot show anything, but you get the idea. There's another channel owned by the same person that goes by the name CatCapQ. It has even more videos, mainly involving cats. The thumbnails of some of these videos are also shockingly suggestive and disturbing. Comments under these videos are also of people justifying crimes against animals. One such comment entire reads, "I met a dog and was so happy that it came to me and went to bed with me." There are 10 more channels from Thailand, all of them uploading similar suggestive content, and some of them even upload fake rescue videos on YouTube. It led me to believe there's an entire community of people doing this type of content. There are also other sites and platforms involved, but I don't know how much I can cover here. The following video was uploaded on YouTube by Law and Crime Network. It shows a woman named Stephanie Malgoza who, while under the influence of alcohol, killed 2 people while driving 3 times over the speed limit. She describes the incident, claiming that she called 911 as soon as she hit the person.
Obviously, you don't feel like you're free to go right now, right? So I'm just going to read your Miranda rights. You understand what they are, and we're going to talk about what happened on the accident, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have a right to talk to a lawyer before questioning, have him present with you while you're being questioned. Cannot afford to hire a lawyer, want to be provided for you before question, okay? Do you understand each of your rights? How do you say your first name? Stephanie. Okay. That being said, will you talk to me, explain what happened?
I will talk to you about anything.
All right, so explain in detail just what happened prior to the accident.
According to her, she wasn't driving that fast, but the person came out of nowhere in front of her.
But I promise you, like, I only know one person got hit, and I'm just like, they came out of nowhere because I am a safe driver.
And she said she only had 3 drinks, and would even pass a sobriety test if it occurred. However, she failed all of them.
Over the course of the night, how much have you had to drink?
I probably had about 3 drinks.
What is 3 drinks? Are we talking, what type of drinks?
Just vodka.
Vodka? Straight vodka or mixed drinks?
Vodka and water, so I was staying hydrated, you know, and drinking.
On it,
like right now, if you had me do a test, I think I would pass. Just like, don't test me, but I think I would pass.
While she initially claimed that she was aware of the situation, when the officers tried to take her sobriety test, she would hysterically laugh, acting as if nothing had happened.
You understand?
Right now, yes.
All right, touch the tip of my pen just so I know where you're... There you go. All right. That's what I want you to follow. That's your eyes.
Oh, shit.
No,
It's
we're
really
gonna
hard.
try that again.
It's hard.
All right. Just
Okay.
keep your head still for me.
Honestly, her behavior was really creepy. Her actions showed no remorse for killing 2 people, and she repeatedly tried to crack jokes, sing, and even dance after being arrested. Stephanie Malgoza was found guilty for 2 counts of aggravated DUI death, 2 counts of aggravated reckless driving, and was sentenced to 14 years in prison.
Hey, Dip, quit thinking about my twinkle.
What's that?
Hey, Dip, quit thinking about my twinkle.
This could possibly be one of the worst prank gone wrong videos ever. Tanner Cook was a 21-year-old YouTuber who often made prank videos and uploaded them on his YouTube channel Classified Goons. In April, while shooting one of his prank videos, he began to prank another individual, who then pulled out a gun and shot him in the chest. The man was 21-year-old DoorDash delivery driver Alan Cooley. Alan was picking up his order from the food shop when Tanner interrupted him and began following him around while playing strange audio from his mobile phone. The audio sounded like Google Translate and said, "Hey, censored, quit thinking about my twinkle." Initially, Alan tried to brush it off, acting normally and even pushing Tanner away. But as Tanner continued, Alan pulled out a gun and shot him in the chest. Public opinion was not in favor of Tanner, as people saw his content being borderline harassment and not funny at all. Despite the fatal wound, Tanner fortunately survived. Also, Alan was found innocent by the jury, which ruled that he had shot Tanner in self-defense. Though Tanner's family was unhappy with the jury's decision, they ultimately accepted it.
Foi. Bom dia, pessoal. Estou trocando ideia com a secretária aqui, falando dessa chuvarada que não para mais, pessoal.
This has to be one of the most interesting serial killer cases I've ever covered. Pedro Rodrigues was a Brazilian serial killer who would kill other criminals as a means to seek justice and revenge. His first murder occurred when he was just 14 years old, when he shot the deputy mayor of Santa Rita do Sapucaí in front of the city hall. The mayor had fired his father, a school guard, over accusations of stealing food from the school kitchen, which further prevented his father from finding new employment. However, the accusations were completely false. Pedro then tracked down the actual thief who stole the food and killed him as well. After committing these crimes, Pedro simply ran away and began living undercover in Mogi das Cruzes. To survive, he began robbing and killing substance traffickers, which eventually made him a minor celebrity in the Brazilian media. During this time, Pedro also met Maria Olympia, and the two began living together. Maria was pregnant with Pedro's child, but she was killed shortly afterwards by a rival gang leader. Enraged by her death, Pedro went on a killing spree, tracking down and killing every member of the rival gang one by one. On May 24, 1973, at the age of 18, Pedro was finally arrested and sentenced to 126 years in prison. While in prison, he killed 47 other inmates because he felt disgusted by them. On one occasion, while being transported with another prisoner in a car, he killed the man, claiming he did so because he was a R-word. In total, Pedro killed over 100 criminals, including R-words, substance dealers, and murderers. Among his victims was his own father, ironically the very person for whom he first started his killing spree. Pedro's father believed that his wife, Pedro's mother, had been unfaithful to him. Consumed by jealousy and anger, he decided to kill his entire family. At this point, Pedro was already in prison, serving his 126-year sentence, but his two siblings and his mother were still living at home with his father. One night, in a fit of rage, Pedro's father killed his wife while she was sleeping. However, he didn't stop there. After murdering her, he then turned on his children, attempting to take their lives as well. Fortunately, they managed to escape and survive the attack. After hearing the news, Pedro was completely devastated and decided to seek revenge. Pedro's father was sent to the same prison as Pedro. He searched for his father and eventually found him, taking his life on the spot in the jail cell. Although sentenced to 126 years in prison, Pedro was released in 2007, 34 years after his arrest for good behavior. He was once again arrested in 2011 for inciting riots in the area, but was finally released again in 2018 when he began his YouTube career by starting his own YouTube channel called Pedrinho X Matador. He even appeared on a podcast where he shared his experiences. During the podcast, he explained how he secretly entered his father's jail cell and took his life.
O meu pai matou minha mãe por quê? Porque foram falar pra ele que minha mãe tinha traído ele. Mentira, minha mãe era daqui do Brasil, 12 anos na época. Mentira, sendeiro. Matou minha mãe, só não matou meus irmãos, eu tava preso já. Só não matou meus irmãos, porque meu irmão só correndo pra fora os vizinhos recolheram. Mas ele ia matar todo mundo. Meu pai matou na cadeia, não foi na rua, eu tava preso já. Eu fiquei 42 anos preso.
He even took out a piece of his father's heart and chewed on it.
Que eu cortei o bico do coração, masquei porque eu falei no caixão, vou comer o coração dele. Foi o que eu fiz, foi vingança, mas não que eu engoli. Eu masquei e joguei em cima do corpo do meu pai dentro da cela, no chão.
On March 5th, 2023, Pedro's life was taken by two unknown men who shot him from their car before fleeing the scene. No suspects have been arrested yet. His YouTube channel is now being managed by his therapist, who uploads videos of them together as a way to remember him. There was a website on GeoCities back in the year 2000, created by a woman named Carol. Carol was a 21-year-old woman studying in college, and she created the website to share her strange fantasy. Her fantasy was to sever her own hands and become an amputee. While the website has since been lost due to GeoCities shutting down, we can use Wayback to access some archives. The front page of the website shows links to various blogs made by Carol around that time. The title of the first one reads, About me, Carol, I'm soon to become a real DBE amputee. The blog reads, "Hi, my name is Carol, and I'm a 21-year-old college student studying to become a teacher of exceptional disabled children. I'm a high myope, and I wear glasses with thick plastic lenses. I'm also a bona fide DBE, double below elbow amputee wannabe. Yes, that means that I really do want to have both of my hands and both of my wrists amputated about 8 inches below my elbows. When I was 3 years old, I met a young man who was completely missing all 4 of his fingers on his right hand. Ever since that time, I have been absolutely fascinated by amputees, most especially women amputees, who are missing their hands or their arms and to wear hook prostheses. Ever since I can remember, I've constantly dreamed and fantasized about becoming a real amputee myself, especially a real DBE amputee who wears twin-body powered prostheses with matching Doran's 5X stainless steel hooks. A lot of the content on the website seems fetishized, especially with the repeated mention of body-powered prostheses with stainless steel hooks. From the post, Carol appears to be obsessed with amputees, particularly women amputees who wear these specific hooks. Throughout the website, she frequently mentions other women like Pam Westling and Melanie Ben, even sharing pictures of him at the time. Although the images are not unavailable, searching for these names yields interesting results. Melanie Ben, frequently mentioned on the blog, is a former American Paralympic swimmer and a DBE amputee. As for Pam Westling, an online search only brings up a single image of an old woman amputee, an ordinary woman without any public profile. However, Carol mentioning her in her blog makes it seem as though she knew some of these women personally. As the post continues, Carol explains how she and Rob have planned a fake accident in which she'd permanently sever her own hands and become an amputee herself. It reads, "I now fully understand all of the challenges that I'll have to face as a woman who will have twin hooks instead of 2 real hands, and I can't wait to begin facing them. I've already planned how to get my double below elbow amputations at the same time. My twin amputations will occur as a result of a tragic accident that will completely and permanently sever both of my hands about 8 inches below my elbows, so that no doctor will be able to save and reattach my severed limbs. My tragic accident will happen just before my graduation from college in May of 2001, which will also be just before my 22nd birthday. So I'll celebrate both of my graduation from college and my birthday in the hospital as a new DBE amputee. I honestly do want to live the rest of my life as a real DBE amputee who wears beautiful twin-body powered prostheses with Doran's 5X stainless steel hooks. My new life without my hands is awaiting me. Sincerely, Carol, soon to be a real DBE amputee." In a different blog, she writes, "I've already been preparing myself to become a real DBE amputee, and I've also been preparing myself how to live the rest of my life with it. Ever since I was 7 years old, I met my first woman arm amputee, a 12-year-old girl who was a congenital ray amputee who used prostheses. I've continually dreamed and fantasized about becoming a real arm amputee, a real DBE amputee who would wear prostheses." The blog continues with Carol detailing how she's practicing living as an amputee and eagerly waiting for the day when she'll go through with a planned accident to sever her own hands and finally become an amputee herself. What's even stranger is that her fiancé, Rob, fully supports her decision and also wants her to become an amputee. Just weeks before Carol's planned accident, she disappeared completely online, and the website was never updated again. Her identity was never uncovered, and no one knows whether she followed through with her accident or not. There are several theories regarding what was happening with Carol. Some believe she was suffering from body dysmorphia, a condition where a person gets fixated over their body, leading to an overwhelming desire to alter or even remove one's body part. Another theory suggests that this was part of a fetish, and that Rob may have influenced Carol's obsession. It's possible that it wasn't even Carol who wrote the blogs, but Rob pretending to be her and fulfilling his fetishes. Interestingly, while Carol disappeared, one user discovered a website called Hook Lovers, active until 2017, which shares a similar writing style to Carol's blogs. The site also features images of women wearing the same twin-body powered prostheses with Doran stainless steel hooks, with the blogs obsessing over those women and sexualizing them. While we cannot know for certain what happened, most probable is that Carol didn't actually go through with the plan, and that's why the blog suddenly stopped.
Come little rabbit, come to me. Come little rabbit, let it be. Come little rabbit, come and pray. Come little rabbit, come to me. Come little rabbit, come and play. Come little rabbit, let us sing.
This is a very old case, but I wanted to cover it because of how absurd it is. Akmal Shaikh, a British businessman, was tricked into trafficking illegal drugs into China and was executed for it. Akmal, a Pakistani-born Muslim, migrated to the UK in his early childhood. He married a Hindu woman, but the marriage fell apart in 2003 after Shaikh was accused of SA and unfairly dismissing a 24-year-old employee. At the time, Shaikh was 47 years old and ran a minicab business. However, due to the case, he sold the business to another company and moved to Poland just a year later. There, he married his Polish secretary and had ambitions of starting a new airline business. However, everything changed on the 7th of July 2005. On that morning, at around 9 AM, 4 Muslim men carried out quote-unquote self-bombings on London's public transport system, taking the lives of 52 people and injuring over 800 others.
Just standing outside King's Cross station at the moment, and there are a number of commuters walking out of the station covered in soot.
While the incident was one of the deadliest attacks on UK soil in nearly a decade, Shaikh had a different perspective. He messaged to people in London saying, "Now everybody will understand what Muslims are and what jihad is." After sending this message, Shaikh would definitely come to understand what law is. After the incident, Shaikh was investigated as a suspect for 5 months by British intelligence and Poland's internal security agency. A year later, he was sentenced to 1 year in jail for driving under the influence. He was released in 2007 and subsequently joined a lengthy protest outside the Warsaw office of the Prime Minister of Poland. There, he met British musician Gareth Saunders, who described Shaikh as being in his absolute worst shape, with no money, food, or home. Desperate to find a job, Shaikh tried to convince Saunders to record a song he had written, which according to him was meant to spread a message of peace across the world. The song was titled "Come Little Rabbit." However, Saunders felt the song was a bit out of tune and was unable to help Shaikh. In his desperation, Shaikh finally met a man named Carlos, who claimed he had significant contacts in the music industry and was willing to help Shaikh escape his poor conditions. Carlos advised Shaikh to travel to Kyrgyzstan, where he would meet a friend named Okoli, who could supposedly make him a music star overnight. With no other options left, Shaikh took Carlos' advice and traveled there. Surprisingly, Okoli loved Shaikh's song and promised him the opportunity to perform "Come Little Rabbit" at a large nightclub he owned in China. At that moment, Shaikh felt as if his life was about to change. He believed he'd finally be able to fulfill his dream of becoming a singer and even earn money to support himself. The two made a plan to first land in Tajikistan and then travel to Urumqi in northwest China. However, once in Tajikistan, Okoli stayed behind, pushing Shaikh to travel alone to China, claiming that the flight was full. He promised to take the next flight and join Shaikh in China soon after. Shaikh complied, but just before he was about to board the plane, Okoli gave him a suitcase to carry with him to China. Thinking it was just extra luggage, Shaikh didn't give it much thought. However, as soon as he landed in China, he was arrested on charges of substance trafficking. Police discovered 4 kilograms of opium in the very suitcase Okoli had given him. Shaikh explained everything to the authorities, claiming that the suitcase was not his, but belonged to his friend, who was supposed to arrive on the next flight. However, Okoli never showed up. Believing that Shaikh was lying to save himself, the Chinese authorities arrested him and subsequently sentenced him to death. The British government was not informed about the arrest until a year later. An organization called Reprieve did its best to save Shaikh, campaigning for his release and claiming that he knew nothing of the substances and had been manipulated by someone else. They even requested a psychiatric assessment of Shaikh, arguing that he suffered from bipolar, which made him more susceptible to falling into such traps. However, despite clear evidence that Shaikh wasn't completely mentally sane, his psychiatric assessment was denied by the Chinese authorities. Many people began protesting outside the Chinese embassy in Britain, pleading for Shaikh's release. The Chinese authorities, on the other hand, simply didn't care. In a final desperate attempt to save Shaikh from execution, Reprieve, the same organization fighting for him, released the very song he wanted the world to hear.
Tylko jedno ludzi, tylko jedno świat, tylko jedno Boga, la ilaha illallah.
The song "Come Little Rabbit" was published on YouTube on October 28, 2009, urging viewers to join the protest to save Shaikh. Along with the lyrics, the song also narrates the story of Akmal Shaikh, trying to make people aware of the grim situation he was in. However, despite numerous attempts and international pressure, Shaikh was executed on December 29, 2009. His family members weren't allowed to meet him during his final hours, nor were they permitted to witness the execution.